What's the biggest thing that you guys can accomplish for the bye week here?
Oh, I mean, it's getting better. So, young guys haven't been winning, so we're trying. It's not all just game planning or scheming for Michigan State or scheming for Purdue. The last two games, there's a little bit of that, but it's really just doing just very much more individual than normal. You don't have to hurry up and run a bunch of plays. So trying to, again, just keep working on just trying to be fundamentally tackling better. We're doing some tackling drills today. We're doing some, create turnover drills, some ball security drills, some stance, some half line fundamentals. There's 30 minutes of practice with fundamentals, and then a little bit of scheme work, and some of the scheme work is a little bit towards some of the young guys too, so we're not wearing some of the old guys out.
How much does it help that a lot of those young guys that have maybe been asked to play more than they thought they were going to be, just getting healthy, getting a little bit rest?
And that's when I say young guys, some of the young guys aren't getting overloaded, so some guys are playing a lot. So I got Mark Murphy that's played a bunch, in the secondary, maybe a little bit more work for Flo. Then Mark, who Flo's been rotating a little bit, getting, Shaq Jefferson up to speed, the safety spot a little bit. Corner-wise, you're still trying to bring along, Michael Hunter. Lawrence Barnett, it's kind of spending time, so maybe taking a little work off Greg Heben. All those guys are still young, so it's like we say the ones are getting about a third of the work, and then we're trying to complement some of the young guys that aren't playing a lot, and then some of the guys that are being redshirted and to kind of bring those up to speed a little bit.
How does what you guys do, I guess, recruiting-wise this week kind of affect the way practice works, and how many guys you kind of put on the road and all that kind of deal?
Well, you're just allowed. My deal is like where's the best production served and where the coach is going, and of course we're still not in a contact period, so we're trying to max out where guys go. Are they really seeing guys practice versus going by a school and the guy's just in a classroom and you can't observe him. So we're trying to take advantage of the eval observation time. Coach today, Coach Johns and Coach Mallory and myself are really only three guys here today, kind of running the rest of the guys, whether they were somewhere or traveling to be somewhere to get work done. Of course, we have our GAs that we work. So, some of our individual work was group work. So, for example, I went with the offensive line, and Noah Heron was with the tight ends, and Coach John's kind of the receivers doing some routes with the quarterbacks. I had the quarterbacks and running backs in a run period. Coach Shula was down with the front in a run period, Coach Mallory with the secondary. So, it's a little bit by committee. Our meetings are shorter, and our meetings are group meetings. So we're doing more, let's meet as an offense, let's meet a defense, and do some general things. And so it's kind of tough. I want to do fundamentals, but it's hard to do a lot of specific fundamentals when you're short some coaches. So there's a double-edged sword there. But I think the one thing, we're maybe not trying to get as many plays or be as hectic and just try to get more quality work in what we're doing with those guys.
If you could have your choice, where would you want the bye week, during the season?
I think you kind of like it. It's nice to get. I don't know if you like it after week 1, and or 2, but I think sometimes, whether it be at the end of your non-conference or in between, conference games 1, 2, where you get 4, 5, 6 under your belt. Sometimes when you get 8 or 9 at the end, and because I even think you can be more productive recruiting earlier with that week because guys hadn't committed yet. You're on them maybe a month or 2 earlier, but the schedule guys, it is what it is. So I don't think you want to. I don't want it week 1 or 2, and at the same time, I don't know if you necessarily want it this late. But that being said, we've saved our recruiting days to use that. And for us, if we were an older team and playing well, we probably wouldn't be doing as much fundamental work. But that being said, it's not a spring ball mentality, but it's a little bit more fundamental with the young guys.
How much does it change what you can do with the bye week based on where it's placed through the season?
I just think there's different, just different thought processes based on your opponents, who's coming up. Again, we're so far, down the road. We kind of are what we are with our personnel. We are what we are schematically. So it's more like, do you really need to spend, when typically you got Sunday to Saturday to get ready for someone, do you need to spend 2 full weeks just for Michigan State or a little bit of time for Michigan State and Purdue? So again, that being said, we took it use it as recruiting, and as many freshmen and redshirt freshmen and sophomores were playing to kind of not wear them out, but make it a little bit more of a, let's be a fundamental-oriented team and not get away from just schemes and scheme. Let's go back to, day 1 stance, day 1 alignment, day 1 fits, day 1 tackling, day 1 blocking. So, but that's just the nature of our team. 2 years from now, 4 years from now, if it's the same week, where we're at, you could be in a different thought process. That's just where we were as coaches, what we thought the best way to go about it.
How much does that make a difference with Trey because he doesn't have to prepare for an opponent this week?
But again, we're giving a lot of work back to Ed. Dusty's doing a little bit, but not quite running. He's throwing a little bit more, so he's getting a little bit of him. But it's really trying to get a little bit more work for Ed back in the mix instead of, the last few weeks as Trey was, he was getting the bulk of the plays because he's been here so little. And to me, I think sometimes as coaches, when you talk about trusting, it's like the coach trusting the player, and it's like you got to see him doing things. So I think it's really getting a lot of work for Ed. Stephen Houston's played a lot. It's getting more work for D'Angelo. It's getting more work for some of the the offensive linemen that have played a lot. We still got a couple young guys. We're trying to work some of the young guys. So it's not just for Trey. I mean, like I say, there was a segment today, targeted at opponents, but I think the real target was just trying to work on getting us to be a better football team. And that's
Offensive
fine.
line-wise, injury-wise.